Good day. Welcoming you all on board for the third session on Human Resource Development course. Hope you would have all tried the case study which was given at the end of the episode 2. Let me narrate the case in a capsule. So you were newly hired as a human resource vice president in an accounting firm, and the director has mentioned certain weaknesses which was identified by the management consultants, and you were required to identify whether each of the weakness fell within the scope of human resource development, and if it fell under the human resource development scope, you have to identify which subsystem is the problem relevant to. So, the first weakness, the amount of employees pursuing further master's or PhD degrees has decreased by over 25% in the 5 years. So, this is a big yes. This comes under the scope of human resource development, and it comes under the professional development or career development concept of subsystem of human resource development. The second weakness, 75% of senior team members complain that junior team members have too many questions about the tasks at hand. This essentially is a problem coming under the scope of human resource development. There is a need for on the job training to be given to the freshers. The weakness number 3 was evaluation scores by the senior members on the junior members have decreased 20% on average in the past year. So, the evaluation scores actually when it has gone down, it implies that there is a need for training, and the training needs assessment is to be conducted, and this comes under the subsystem of training and development, and so it is under the scope of human resource development. Number 4, in a satisfaction survey, 90% of employees claimed that they wanted a pay rise. The compensation related aspect does not come under the human resource development department. It is actually the decision of the board and the budgeting committee to decide about the pay rise for all the employees. Maybe suggestions can be given, but it is this particularly employees asking for a pay rise cannot be handled by the human resource development department. Number 5, 40% of employees are considering leaving the firm within the next 2 years because they do not see a clear path to promotion. So, this is a big yes. It comes under the scope of human resource development, and since employees are trying to leave the firm as they do not see a clear path, this indicates that the career development and career planning subsystem can be made efficient so that we can retain the best talents. Number 6, according to employee timesheets, a disproportionately high amount of time for junior members was spent on administrative tasks and troubleshooting. So, this calls for the attention of the training subsystem. So, this comes under the scope of human resource development department. Weakness number 7 identified by the management consultants. There is a 10% increase year over year of employees who did not complete the mandatory compliance training. So, this comes under the compliance subsystem of the HRD department. It is the HRD department which has to look into the satisfaction of the or the compliance with the mandatory trainings that are to be attended by the employees, and if they don't attend it on time, the timeline has to be rescheduled and they have to be reminded about that, and they have to be forced to complete the training on time. So, this comes under the scope of human resource development department, and it comes under the compliance subsystem. So, you may check out whether you have done this. This is just a suggestive answer. Every case study does not have a concrete answer. You may give your own answers, but you should be in a position to justify that. So, this is a basic caselet which tests your ability to identify whether a particular problem can be handled by the human resource development department or not.
In today's episode, we are going to focus on employee behavior. What are the different ways in which the employee behavior is affected? What are the internal and external factors? And what are the types of behavior that are exhibited by the employees, and how a HRD manager can deal with all these? There is a certain way individuals behave in a particular situation. No two individuals behaves in similar ways to a particular situation. There are individuals who find it difficult to handle stress, whereas there are certain individuals who have the ability to face unforeseen circumstances with a smile. Employee behavior can be defined as an employee's reaction to a particular situation in workplace. Employees need to behave sensibly at workplace, not only to gain appreciation and respect from others, but also to maintain a healthy work culture. One needs to adhere to the rules and regulations of the workplace. One should remember that office is not a place where you can shout on fellow workers, spread rumors, criticize your boss, and so on. You just can't afford to be rude with your team members. You have to be polite and speak softly. Do not forget that you are not the only one working. There are other people around. Conflicts and misunderstandings can lead to no solution. No employee can work at a stretch, and it is essential to take breaks in between. Being too strict with the employees cannot help in retaining the employees or getting the work done from them. No one will bother to listen if the employer is very strict or the culture is really pressing. Generally speaking, the employee behavior can follow under any one of these categories. The first type of employees are called as task performers. Such individuals are well aware of their key responsibility areas and they know what they are supposed to do. Every individual have some goals in their lives, and they need to have some goals in their lives, and task performers are such persons who set the targets for themselves, strive hard to accomplish the task within the stipulated time frame. They set a direction for themselves. The task performers concentrate on their work. They never lose track of what they are doing, and they focus on meeting the deadlines, and they achieve the targets usually on or before the time. Such individuals work in close coordination with the customers and clients, and they train their fellow workers and try to finish the task within the minimum possible errors. Such employee behavior is most preferred as far as the employers are concerned, and the HRD manager is not going to have any trouble with such persons. The next type of behavior is organizational citizenship behavior. In today's scenario of cutthroat competition, organizations need to provide something extra to the clients for them to survive in the long run and outshine their competitors. Remember, mere performing a daily job responsibility would not help for this particular task to be achieved. We need to think out of the box, and if we are aspiring to reach the top slot within the shortest possible time frame, we have to be an extraordinary thinker, thinking out of the box. So apart from the regular job, what we do to fit into the organization? The managers need to encourage the employees to gain from each other's knowledge and expertise, and a culture of learning from each other, what we call as the learning organization, should prevail. For this to happen, there should be freedom from the top management. They should be given a free hand. Such organization citizenship behavior can be encouraged by the top management by encouraging such people who show extraordinary interest in the development of their colleagues and the organization. And this type of people with organization citizenship behavior, they are most loved according to the top management, because they are actually the people who make the organizations flourish, and the people within the organizations also flourish. The third type of behavior is counterproductive behavior. Individuals with counterproductive work behavior have a tendency to harm their organization. So, is there have you seen a woodcutter cutting the branches of the tree on which he sits? But these people who have the counterproductive work behavior harm the own organization in which they work. Such individuals not only speak ill of their organization but also abuse fellow workers and pass lewd comments. They are often involved in objectionable activities and do unproductive tasks and spoil the entire work culture. Motivated employees not only develop a sense of attachment towards their organization, they also motivate others to behave as per the standards for a healthy work culture. An additional tip on motivation is that job has to be assigned to all the employees according to their qualification, specialization, expertise, and so on. And they have to be rewarded accordingly, because others in the team should understand that greater responsibilities mean greater rewards and incentives. And small initiatives which are being followed in insurance companies and IT companies, like employee of the month, star of the week, best performer, all these actually motivate the employees to deliver their level best and also encourage them to behave well in the workplace. And the third one is work culture. Employees should feel comfortable at workplace for them to stay positive and happy. Rules and regulations should be the same for everyone, and employees ought to be encouraged to respect their reporting bosses and follow the code of ethics. The complication in reporting systems will be a demotivator, and the transparency at all levels is an essential thing which the employees expect. Job security is one of the most crucial factors affecting employee behavior. The organization should stand by the team in times of crisis. Like during the COVID situation, the many of the employers tried their level best to retain their employees, though there were some pay cuts. They tried to retain their employees and stand by them, and they were paying 50 to 60% of their salary even when they could not report for the job, understanding the situation they were in. So these types of things come under the concept of work culture, and this has a very important role to play in influencing the employee behavior. An employee needs to feel comfort. We have seen 5 significant types of employee behavior in workplace. Now let us see the factors, both internal and external, that have a bearing on the work behavior of the employees. The first and foremost factor that influences employee behavior is the leadership of the managers. Managers and leaders play a significant role in shaping the behavior of the individuals in workplace. It is the manager who sets the direction for his team members. In majority of the cases, people don't feel like going to work when they have very strict bosses, and employees who have a very supporting boss, a very friendly boss who is always there to help him out with this in terms of difficulty. They actually love going to the workplace every day, and you can find that they are ready to acquire new skills and upgrade their knowledge once they are made to feel important in the organization. So a leader manager is a strong source of inspiration for his subordinates, and a leader leads by example. The second important factor affecting employee behavior is the motivation. So we have studied about several motivation theories and in organization behavior and in management principles, and all these actually is the stimulating force which shapes the behavior of the employees. Everybody needs appreciation. When a person has done a remarkably good job, a small pat on the shoulder of the person who has achieved it really goes a long way in motivating the person. It not only motivates the person who has achieved, it also motivates the persons who have never thought about achieving all that. This pat on the shoulder actually motivates them also to achieve that and get a pat on their own shoulders. Motivated employees not only develop a sense of attachment towards their organization, they also motivate others to behave as per the standards for a healthy work culture. An additional tip on motivation is that job has to be assigned to all the employees according to their qualification, specialization, expertise, and so on. And they have to be rewarded accordingly, because others in the team should understand that greater responsibilities mean greater rewards and incentives. And small initiatives which are being followed in insurance companies and IT companies, like employee of the month, star of the week, best performer, all these actually motivate the employees to deliver their level best and also encourage them to behave well in the workplace. And the third one is work culture. Employees should feel comfortable at workplace for them to stay positive and happy. Rules and regulations should be the same for everyone, and employees ought to be encouraged to respect their reporting bosses and follow the code of ethics. The complication in reporting systems will be a demotivator, and the transparency at all levels is an essential thing which the employees expect. Job security is one of the most crucial factors affecting employee behavior. The organization should stand by the team in times of crisis. Like during the COVID situation, the many of the employers tried their level best to retain their employees, though there were some pay cuts. They tried to retain their employees and stand by them, and they were paying 50 to 60% of their salary even when they could not report for the job, understanding the situation they were in. So these types of things come under the concept of work culture, and this has a very important role to play in influencing the employee behavior. An employee needs to feel comfortable at the workplace so that he is able to deliver his best. An important concept in work culture is the organization should encourage the employees to work in teams rather than working alone. Individuals who work in isolation tend to be overburdened, and they are frustrated, and they start criticizing the fellow workers and superiors. So the concept of employees working each other, helping each other to learn from each other, this goes a long way in building up the teams and the concept of esprit de corps. Encouraging effective communication at workplace is a very important concept in culture, and the employees should be able to interact with each other and share their experiences and come out with innovative solutions. Most of the problems seem to evaporate in a friendly work culture. People feel happy to come to work, and they seldom complain over petty issues. Small events and get togethers also lead to a healthy work culture, and individuals feel attached to the organization. The next important factor that has a bearing on good employee behavior is effective communication. Managers need to communicate effectively with their team members, and once the employees feel left out, they lose interest in work. They need to have a say in organization's major decisions, and they should be able to express their views and come out with their problems. Grievances of the employee should be addressed immediately and in private. Employees' perception towards the organization and their team manager determines their behavior. Communication enables employees to understand what their organization wants them to do. Managers need to know whether the team members are facing any sort of problems. Communication helps in changing an individual's attitude and thought process. The family and personal life, though internal to the individual, has definitely a bearing on the employee behavior. Conflicts in personal life may lead to stress and irrational behavior. The individuals who have a personal turmoil in their lives should be counseled properly, and they should be taught the uh, technique of work-life balance. The relationships at work also has a significant effect on employee behavior. If the employees have a lot of friends in the workplace, they have a lot of people around to talk to, discuss and share the experience, they will not work in isolation, and this interaction reduces the frustration and stress in the workplace. Stories about the organization, the work culture, about the key people in the organization goes a long way in shaping the work behavior of the employees. Walt Disney developed a love for drawing after his neighbor, a retired doctor, paid him to draw pictures of his house. Disney later became a newspaper cartoonist and commercial artist, where he learned how to make commercials from cutout animations. His fascination with animation inspired him to establish his own cartoon studio, and eventually he became the face of the golden age of animation. This story of Walt Disney is told to every newly inducted employee during the onboarding process of Disney Imagineering. The employees observed that even weeks after they heard the story, their mind returned to it whenever they felt uninspired by the work they were doing. Examples like this one illustrate how even simple stories can be an effective source of inspiration. In fact, they can be even more powerful than that. Stories can influence the decisions and behavior of the employees. By presenting vivid examples of people who face the challenges we face, they not only last across time but is also contagious. That behavior is contagious is a well-known finding in psychological research, even in contexts in which we believe our actions are primarily determined by our internal motivation. Consider the case of dishonesty or cheating. Simply seeing another person cheat can lead us to cheat, even if we care about being honest. In one study conducted among college students, 20 max problems were given to them in a very short time. Realistically speaking, nobody could solve all the problems within the allotted time. The people who conducted this exam said that they would be paid for whatever problems they reported they had solved. So if they said that they had solved 15 problems, they would be getting money for solving the 15 problems, and the money was placed in the envelope on their desk. After the time was up, the students were supposed to check their own performance, pay themselves, shred the test, that is they can put it in the shredder machine, so they need not show it to anybody, and leave. So the max test was a pretense for the real experiment which concerned with cheating. So shortly after the students began working on the problems, was made to sit among the students, and this paid actor declared that he solved everything. He just took away the money for the 20 problems, he put it in the shredder and left the room. On seeing this, everybody knew for sure that he has blatantly cheated. Seeing the presumed peer cheat, the overall level of cheating in the room also increased. Many students gave a self-reported performance that they also completed 15 max problems out of 20. But in reality, in such a short time, only 7. The same study was replicated in several other places with a fake shredding machine. So this brought to the fore that many people were cheating since they were not noted, and when they saw a person cheating before their eyes, they also got the inspiration to cheat. So the moral of the experiment is dishonesty can be contagious when we witness one of our own engaging in unethical behavior. Behavior can be contagious even when it is simply described in a story. That is why movies have a lot of impact on the behavior of the people today. Organizational founders and executives often share their own stories and examples of past behavior in their companies. At McKinsey, employees are highly familiar with stories about long-time managing director Marvin Bower's integrity, and at Starbucks, stories are widely told about CEO Howard Schultz's commitment to employee welfare. Stories can also come from employees low on the organizational hierarchy. At Ritz-Carlton hotels, for instance, employees widely share stories about doormen, cleaning and maintenance staff, and other employees going above and beyond for customers or for one another. These stories are positive examples of organizational members upholding company values. Others are stories in which the protagonist violated the organization's values. In a recent field experiment conducted in CN Martin of Boston College, over 600 newly hired employees in a large IT firm were presented with stories of organizational members as a part of their onboarding process. Some stories had a main character who occupied a high level position in the company. Others were about a person in a low level position. In addition, the stories varied on whether the protagonist engaged in behaviors that upheld or deviated from the organization's values. The result was that the stories about low-level organizational members engaging in values upholding behaviors were more likely to encourage similarly positive behaviors and reduce deviant behaviors than those about high-level organization members. But when the stories were about organizational members engaging in deviant behaviors, fewer value upholding behaviors were observed if the story was about a high level rather than a low level member. It seems we are especially lifted up by stories of those at the bottom behaving generously, and particularly discouraged by stories about higher ups misbehaving. Even reading works of fiction can have a marked influence on a person's behavior. Research by Geoff Kaufman of Dartmouth College and Lisa Libby of Ohio State University found that individuals who lose themselves in the world of a character often alter their attitudes and thoughts to resemble those of the made up person. It's not very common that when we see movies, we tend to act like the heroes and heroines in the movie. So if you have an actor who is dear to your heart, we try to mimic them, and if the actor says a dialogue, we try to repeat that in this very same style. So this is inbuilt in our mechanism, and so this can also have a standing effect on our behavior also. Telling and listening to stories are traditional, even ancient means of passing on wisdom and culture. So, telling stories about the organizational culture, about the organizational members, can actually motivate the employees to have a positive behavior in the workplace. So, this is all for today. So, we'll meet again in the next episode with a new topic. Thank you. Thank you.